What's up, gang? Welcome back to the Quarter Mile Podcast. You are officially here with us for our second episode ever. And I'm joined with my co-host, Bailey Jackson.
Yeah, hello.
Welcome back. We have a better idea of what we're doing now, don't we?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, we're still new. We're still figuring it out, but... we're live. Neither of us are sick. There's no snowstorms. We are so glad you guys are joining us. We have our act a little bit better together for the second episode. And I feel like in our first episode, we didn't really dive into a lot of kind of our vision and our goal with this podcast. Yeah. So we're going to tell you right now. We are for sure committed for 10 episodes. We're going to be rewatching the entire Fast and Furious. Just the main movies.
Yeah.
We're not dealing with Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah. No.
Maybe, yeah. We know we're here for 10 episodes. And then we're going to reevaluate close to the end of the 10 episodes and see kind of like what's going on after that.
And if you guys have any suggestions on what y'all want us to watch that has relatability to the Fast and Furious series, we would be all ears.
We definitely, when we started this, we said we're going to do 10 episodes. We're going to do the Fast and the Furious, and then we'll see what happens after that. But there's a lot of ways you can be part of this. This isn't just meant to be me and Bailey chatting.
Right.
We love hearing from everyone else on social media. The Quarter Mile Podcast on everything except TikTok. And TikTok is just Quarter Mile Podcast. So there's a bunch of ways you can help us on this podcast. So first of all, just the fact that you're listening to it, thank you so much. We're really grateful that you're here.
Yeah.
Also, when we ask questions and do surveys and stuff like that online, please participate.
Yes. So. We want to hear all of your opinions.
Every single one of them. Especially the controversial opinions.
That's the most fun ones.
Those are our favorites, and when we post them, they get the best views on TikTok.
Yeah.
So
they do.
And they piss people off, and it's wonderful.
That's the best part.
Yeah. So help us with that. So you when we do our feedback and we ask impressions on the episodes, we'd love to hear you on that. Lastly, if you're like, man, these two people are the coolest. This is the best podcast I've ever just heard in my life. I really want to support them and their hot takes on Fast and Furious and everything in life. There is actually an option through our Buzzsprout, which is how we do our podcast, where you can subscribe and you can give money. You can support us financially. There's options to give $3, $5, $8, or $10. If like 5 of you gave $3, we'd have a free podcast, and that'd be cool.
Exactly. Support local business and local artists.
Absolutely. We love to hear from our people, and so part of our podcast, we call it the response recap. And where we read different people's responses to what we were talking about. Just based off of the last episode, we had a few good hits. The first thing we talked about was NOS, right?
It's apparently nitrous oxide.
Yes. So we had a couple comments. Michael on Instagram, I believe is a friend of yours.
Yeah.
He said nitrous oxide is the same stuff you get at the dentist, laughing gas. So what it does is allow the engine to intake more air, and air plus fuel plus ignition equals horsepower. But with overuse, it can damage your engine internals, and that's why it's only used for short periods. Otherwise, your car blows up like Paul Walker's did in the first. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's combustible.
Also regarding NOS, Alan on YouTube. By the way, Alan, you wrote us like a book on YouTube.
We love you, Alan.
We love you so much, and we might actually we're gonna talk afterwards about trying to get you on the podcast.
Yeah. So y'all might see him.
Yes, yeah, he's a great guy. Has a lot of Fast and Furious feedback. Yeah. And what he said was, after being featured in the Fast and Furious, awareness of this product and brand significantly increased. Taking advantage of this, the Fuse Beverage Company launched a beverage that licensed the name NOS from Holley Performance Products. NOS gave your car more power and energy, and that's exactly what energy drinks do to humans.
Yep, and that's how they came up with the NOS energy drink.
And then we had our reel we posted about Mia being underage.
That got some good response. I'm surprised.
Yes, we got a lot of good positive feedback, and then we had a lot of people that just hated us right off the bat. A lot of haters on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we love you guys for commenting your hate. Please
Thank you for being haters. We love that.
We need that. Everyone needs that in our life. But overall, if this is the first episode you're tuning in with us, what we presented was a different idea in the first Fast and Furious, where maybe Mia was underage.
Yeah.
She was drinking a Snapple instead of alcohol. She was doing homework at some point. And so we just posed the question, like, how old was Mia? How old are any of these characters?
What I think a lot of people had figured out was that she was probably in college. So she was doing like schoolwork, college work. So it was more possible that she was at least in her 20s, maybe.
Yeah, they had good reasons. For example, supposedly he came every day to get the tuna.
Yeah.
So like, if she was at school, she wouldn't be.
She wouldn't be there every day. Yeah.
And then the idea that, well, maybe she just was trying to make better life decisions and drink Snapple because it's
exactly.
healthy. And I think the most plausible theory is that Snapple is just a product placement.
Oh, absolutely.
So, Too Fast, Too Furious. That's the movie we're at. We're doing Too Fast, Too Furious together today. Here we go. We get some fans that gave us their opinion. We always, right before we do record a new episode, we always just put out a little picture of the movie, and we say like, "Hey, what do you guys think?" And we're open for comments, commentary, what you like, what you dislike, favorite quotes, least favorite parts, theories. Especially rage comments. If you have problems with movies, we want to hear it.
Absolutely, we do.
So here's a few things. Jeremy from Facebook said, this was a criminally underrated movie. So good, and Luda getting involved made it so much better. The backward driving scene is top notch. And then he said, I will fight anyone that dismisses this movie.
Ooh, that's a threat. So, just so you all know.
Zach, also from Facebook. The prologue showing Brian's race, his way across the country to end up in Miami, was intriguing, and Ludacris's afro was spectacular.
It was spectacular.
I agree. Tyrese eating the detective's burritos always made me laugh. That was a funny scene. We chuckled.
It was.
That burrito also looked really good.
It did.
Yeah. So
it looked very filled.
Yeah. It's a good call on whoever got him a burrito for that scene. Thank you.
In Miami, I bet they're good.
Yeah. Probably. Let's do that. Our next episode
is going to be in Miami. And we're going to be eating burritos and drinking Snapple.
Perfect. And yeah, what a great day.
What a great day.
Peyton, also from Facebook. A lot of our nice comments come from people on Facebook. The mean comments come from TikTok. The informative comments are in like Instagram or YouTube. And then just like the friendly people having a good day show up on Facebook. I don't know what Anyway, Peyton from Facebook called it the second best in the franchise.
It is the second.
It is the second in the franchise. That we can all agree on. Second best, though. I went ahead and asked, and he said the first was his favorite. So
okay.
Oh, okay. Like that. Good call. That was so judgy. I can't help. You're like, okay, well, if that's how you want to live your life.
Chronological.
Yeah, that's good.
Nothing wrong with that. I like the first Twilight, so.
Yeah, well, Twilight is a terrible movie series.
Don't do that to me.
I can't say.
Don't do that to me.
Maybe that'll be our next rewatch. Maybe
it's fine.
Maybe we'll rewatch Twilight.
No, I don't want you to hate me over that.
That is okay. Here's I know this is about Fast and Furious, but when I think vampires and werewolves and supernatural, I'm thinking like Blade. I'm thinking like Resident Evil. I'm thinking like tough, like gory, killing action movies. And then like Twilight came, and it's like, let's not.
Yeah, it's your teeny bopper vampire romance.
Yeah, and that was like when it came out. So my mom, who's not a teeny bopper, she's like in her 70s,
right?
She loves Twilight.
Oh yeah, me and my mom, that was our thing.
So that was like an every Mother's Day thing. I have seen all the Twilights in theaters. And finally in the last one, spoiler alert, if you're on a Fast and Furious podcast and you haven't seen Twilight and you want to, spoiler alert, in the last one, it's like, because all I wanted to see was a big old fight between werewolves and vampires.
Oh, yeah.
And the last one, like, set it up, and I was like, this is it. This is the moment I was waiting for.
And they took it all away.
So,
it's not too much of a spoiler alert if we don't go further detail.
That's true, yeah. There we go. Non-spoiler, spoiler alert.
Yeah, speaking of spoilers, back to Cars.
Yeah. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
And they had spoilers in this movie.
They did. They had some nice spoilers in this movie.
This was like peak early 2000s cool sports
You could
car.
tell, yeah.
And then our last Facebook comment came from Adam, and he said, I like that they basically let Paul Walker wear his own clothing for this run. chino shorts, baggy West Chopper shirts.
T-shirt.
The pinnacle of costumes.
Yeah, that was something else.
Do you think they were just like, you know what, show up however you want?
I mean, everybody else was kind of dressed to the T's, and then you just had him literally in a T.
Yeah.
T-shirt. Just, he either looks like he just, got off of work from an auto body shop, or he looks like he just rolled out of bed.
Like one of those scenes he was wearing, like, did he have his day job? And he's a fugitive, but he's like, no, let me work for a car repair.
That's what I'm wondering. There was, like, no explanation.
No, he just is guy in his nice shirt from AutoZone or wherever I was working at.
Yeah.
There was like the only scene that it made sense that he showed up in like a white t-shirt and cargo was when Ludacris called him and was like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And it's like, I can be there in 4 minutes. I think it made sense that he rolled out of bed in his white tee.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
But like when he's meeting the drug card guy,
he had on that black t-shirt.
Come on, man, look professional.
He was just chilling. Like,
I don't know. Bailey, what were your just in general thoughts of this movie going into it?
I thought it was pretty fun. I mean, it had a lot more like funny things in it to me, and it had a lot more of like imagery.
Their dialogue was rough in this.
It was rough.
And what I learned ahead of time is that they gave Paul Walker and Tyrese Gibson a lot of opportunity to just improv their lines. They just hit the camera like, okay, this is what happened. You guys figure it out. And in hindsight, I don't know if that was the best choice.
There was just a lot of bruh and cuh at the end of everything. It was kind of funny, though, because it kind of seemed like it was just an authentic reaction to just impromptu conversation.
It was like if two frat boys were like, let's go steal some cars.
That's what they were. And they're two fugitive frat boys, practically.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. If you were asking me, does Too Fast, Too Furious have an awesome plot with well-developed characters and an amazing storyline that would just stand the test of time? I would have to say no.
Yeah, I'd have to agree on that one.
No, it does not. Here's the thing. I don't know a single person that goes into a Fast and Furious movie and says, I can't wait for a great plot.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I think
it's the action, adventure, and jokes and cars.
Absolutely.
Like it's.
And this one did it better than the first one.
This
did. This one had more car chasing, more exciting car chases. It was like brighter, more colorful, more off the top. The thing I like about this movie is, it was over the top and ridiculous. And if we try to talk about the plot too much, we're going to realize there wasn't really a cohesive plot.
Right.
But like it set the stage. By a Fast Five, they were modeling all their movies off of what this one was doing. So Too Fast, Too Furious came out on June 3rd, 2003. Bailey was
2 years old.
2 years old. I was a sophomore in high
I
school.
was Too Fast, Too Furious.
Too Fast, Too Furious, 2 years
2 years old.
Love it.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
funny. So Paul Walker returns with an entirely new cast because Vin Diesel and the first movie's director were actually filming Triple X, which is a different action movie. He wasn't like going through a phase in his career. Look it up, but like be careful how you spell it. It's a good movie. Instead of the regular family, in this movie we get Tyrese Gibson, we get Ludacris, we get Eva Mendes. So hot. Let's see if I can go through this entire podcast without having to pause a moment every time I say Eva Mendes.
Just take a moment of
You just have to.
appreciation.
You just have to.
Yeah.
Eva Mendes, if you're listening to this podcast,
we love you.
We love you. Please sponsor us.
Thank you for your face.
Or just go on a date with. Yeah, thank you for
your face.
What a nice compliment.
And your talent, of course.
Yes.
We're not shallow.
No, like you have a great personality to go with your great face. And the big bad guy of this movie, who is a psychopath. Good Lord.
He won up to that last guy.
Yeah, way more evil than Danny Tran, but it was played by Cole Hauser. And
he did solidly.
Great movie. We're excited to get into it. We did an IMDb plot summary last time, which felt like it took 7 years. I know a lot of podcasts do like plot summaries, and it's really cool to listen to when you're driving, but I don't know if you've ever tried to read a plot summary, but way less exciting. So this time, we asked our friends at Hyperwrite to give us a fun and relatable plot summary of Too Fast, Too Furious in depth. And this is what they came up with.
Welcome to the sizzling streets of Miami, where the cars are hot and the racing is even hotter. which apparently so are the girls, because the amount of exploitation of female bodies is insane. But I'm not going to go too far into detail. This is Fast and Furious. It's just how it is.
But if you're ever watching, I can't imagine you listening to this podcast and not liking Fast and Furious. But if you're ever forced to watch 2 Fast and 2 Furious and you don't want to be there, which I can't even imagine, here's a fun drinking game you can play.
Yeah.
Every time you see some kind of sexual exploitation of a woman, take a shot.
Absolutely. You will not be 5 minutes in the movie, probably, by the time that you probably need to be done taking shots. We meet our favorite fugitive, Brian O'Connor, played by the legendary Paul Walker. R.I.P. forever rest in our hearts. Absolutely. Living it up in the underground racing scene. He's not just fast, he's furious and ready to prove it. Wow, they are so good at this.
Killing it, Hyper, right?
They're killing it. The race kicks off with neon lights, revving engines, and enough nods to launch a rocket. Also very true. If y'all remember the last movie, it blew it up. Yeah. Brian's slick driving skills snag the win, but not before he dodges cops and jumps a drawbridge, because, why not? I liked the drawbridge idea, though, because that was pretty fun. It added a little bit of, like, your trick driving type of deal, like your speed demon. Your speed demon driving.
Someone would watch that movie and be like, that's not realistic. Well, duh, it's Fast and Furious.
Well,
we
you know
don't
what?
Want realistic.
It was completely real. Joke's on you.
Yeah.
After the dust settles, Brian's buddy Tej, I think it's Tej.
Yeah, Tej. Yeah.
Tej, ludicrous and cornrows that deserves their own credit, by the way.
By the way, that was an introduction by AI. AI thought we needed to know that I really liked
Ludacris's cornrows. Yeah, I love that. We love the support for that. Throws him into another challenge, and this time it's personal. Enter Roman Pierce, Tyrese Gibson, Brian's childhood friend with a chip on his shoulder and a rap sheet to match. They're offered a deal by the feds. Help take down a drug lord, Carter Verone. Played with slimy charm by Cole Hauser?
Yeah, Hauser?
Hauser?
Yeah.
Yeah. And their criminal records to get a clean slate. Talk about motivation.
One of my favorite things about the movie was the dynamic between Paul Walker and Tyrese Gibson, like Roman and Brian. What I didn't like as much was like how much. Okay, I get they needed a scene where like they fought it out, which I loved the cop in that scene who was just watching it. That was
hilarious.
Not enough credit goes to that police officer. He was the only. Somebody's like the only good police officer.
He was,
met. Like, and he was just a chill dude. He's like, yeah, go for it. I liked the scene where they first see each other and Brian and Roman get in a fight and they're wrestling it out. It starts off with a few good punches, but then I think it's Krav Maga, but like it looks very like they're just rolling around. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
But then, like, it just was too much work. Like, he should have, at that point, been like, okay, I'll do it. But then you get him, like, back at the police. He's like, I don't know, man. At this point, they are driven him over there. They are taking his ankle bracelet off. It was like, dude, you know.
You just got the taste of freedom, and now you're trying to back out of it? Yeah. All right, cool.
And I know a common critique, and then we also get theory, like fan theories, but, like, you never actually know what beef happened between the two of them. Like Roman gets in trouble, and at least at the beginning he's blaming Brian for not getting him out of the trouble. But like they never, and they reference it so many times, and you're like, I'm like almost like, oh, what happened? Like they're about to tell me, and they never really do.
They face off in an audition to race to snag a package.
It just sound like it's a musical.
It's an audition. Yeah, they need to sing Let It Go. Race to snag a package for Verone. It's a pedal to the metal, edge of your seat kind of deal with enough twists and turns to make a pretzel jealous.
Get it, AI.
Oh my gosh. It also gives a spoiler. They nail it, but not without some bickering like an old married couple. I love that the AI also is into the controversy about people thinking that Roman and Brian have a little bit of a bromance. Yes. Like a little bit of a romance going on.
Like, I had... You told me about this, but it was one of your friends watched our
yeah. Shout out to Meech and Casilius. You guys are the original ideas.
Yeah, so I didn't know that there was a theory out there, and I'm gonna put this up, and we're gonna turn this into real and get so many mean people. But the theory is that Brian and Roman apparently, maybe when they were teenagers, like had some kind of love. And then like, and you see, and if you look, if you go into the movie, because I did this last night at our rewatch, if you go in the movie and you think that's the case, like if you just make, even if you don't believe it, you just like, hey, let's assume, what if it was that way?
Right.
There are things in the movie that kind of add to like that. They had some kind of vicious breakup. For example, you look at how annoyed he looks when like Brian's hitting on Eva Mendez's character.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like you see like what could be misconstrued or construed, if this is how you think, as romantic tension. So the idea is like, maybe, I mean, I love their bromance, but maybe it was just a straight up bromance without the beat.
It sounds like, though, Roman knew that Brian was a little bit of a get around. Because he was always like, you always get into trouble because of women.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to stay around just in case.
He totally does, though. Like,
he totally does.
Like, he wasn't wrong. Like, the first movie, he got in so much trouble because he fell in love with Mia.
Yeah, and then it was back to this one woman.
It's like I always say, women ruin everything.
Women do ruin everything, and I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
I am a woman, and I ruin everything.
At the Quarter Mile Podcast, women ruin everything.
Our dynamic duo goes undercover, and it's all about fast cars, big stacks of cash, and the constant threat of getting caught. Wow, scary.
Ooh, yeah.
Oofy.
You cut the tension with a knife.
They're walking a razor's edge, apparently. Oh, and you can cut the tension with a knife.
Well, does it really say that?
It does. Or maybe with a car spoiler. It's that intense.
That's so dumb.
So this is also a podcast that makes fun of AI a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. Because it's kind of funny.
It's going to be really weird if the internet like writes a comment back to us like, hey, stop making fun of us. We have feelings too.
Yeah. Well, technology's going to rise up someday.
Terminator.
Oh, gosh.
But don't worry. We'll have the family there to stop it with fast cars.
Yeah. Say hello to Monica Fuentes, Eva Mendez, the undercover agent who's been cozying up to Verone. Which, I mean, this is probably just to save her butt, honestly.
Right. But at the beginning, they're not
you couldn't
sure
tell.
They're not sure if she was like, what's the word, compromised.
Yeah, you couldn't tell if she was into him or not.
Yeah. There was nothing about her performance with Carter, the villain, that made me think like, oh, she's actually into him.
Yeah, a lot of times she was kind of just like, eh.
Yeah. it really showed a lot of, like, that was kind of some of the darker part of the movie was like, you saw a lot of domestic abuse.
It was.
And they didn't like focus a ton on it. Like, it was like a side part. But like when you think about like their interactions, they could have taken this plot and made a much darker movie.
Can they trust her? Or more importantly, can she trust them? That's a good question.
That is fair. You got to see it from her perspective. They're like, hey, we're going to take 2 convicts, one of which who got fired from the police department for turning on the police department.
Yeah.
And we're going to have them join you in this operation.
Yeah. And yeah, the guy had an ankle bracelet, but you could trust him.
Yeah, it's fine.
We
vouch for him.
He just stole your boss's cigar cutter.
Think about this is why you don't think too much about these plots, because then you go down rabbit holes.
Right.
But like they were already unsure about whether she was compromised or not. They're like, you know what we should do? We should take 2 other guys who we can't really trust, and we should put them on the same operation.
Right. The stage is set for the big money laundering job, and everything's on the line. Brian and Roman have to play it cool, but the job is more twisted than a bag of licorice. Why? Also, shout out to my dad for liking Twizzlers, because I do too. I know a lot of people don't like Twizzlers, but licorice is good. So
I like the red Twizzlers, but I can't stand like black licorice.
Oh, yeah, that's an off and on thing. I like the black licorice jelly beans.
I don't know.
People will hate me for that comment. I'm sorry. They've got to outsmart the cops, dodge Verone's goons, and stick to the plan. Easy, right?
Piece of Paul Walker and Tyrese Gibson. Another day in paradise for them.
Another day in paradise. This whole entire plan with them having to go get the big money. And I was nervous at first, because that's when they go to the trailer.
Yeah.
Because these guys had these sledgehammers.
They just, without any explanation, they come out.
No explanation.
Sledgehammers.
And then there was somebody that stepped out of the trailer. So I thought for a second, I was like, oh my gosh, is this going to be brutal? Are they just going to, like, I know that this movie has taken a little bit of a dark turn in certain areas because of the bad guy, but also I don't think I want to see this Saw movie yet. I don't want to see a guy get sledgehammered. But that didn't happen. They sledgehammered a wall, and they got a ton of cash. I don't really know if it explained what that cash was going to be used for.
It was drug money. So the whole thing was Carter's character was moving money for the cartel.
Okay, yeah, so it was just drugs.
Yeah, that was another thing about the movie is like they had so much that they could have arrested him for.
They really could have.
We saw this in the last movie too. They had so much they could have arrested these people for.
Yeah.
But what they really wanted to do is they wanted to find the money. And then, like, that was the thing. Like, once we prove that he's working with the cartel, then we can arrest him. It's like,
yeah.
Well, how about we prove that he just put a rat in a cop's stomach?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and there's 3 cops present there. Well, counting the guy who's being ratted. But they were like, nope, we gotta wait till we can prove that he's dealing with drug money.
Yeah, they forced Monica to put her hands over his mouth to stop him from screaming.
How about, like, arresting him? That
would be
a great time
exactly. It doesn't even bring up really the scene that they went to the club looks like. So pretty much like what had happened was they went to a club. There were like a lot of dancers and stuff. Really weird outfits.
There was so much going on.
There was so much going on. There was like ladies and like little floating chairs and stuff just randomly like.
They kind of looked like shrimp chairs.
They did look like shrimp chairs.
Yeah.
That was, I guess it was like an under the sea.
Yeah, under the sea
deal. Yeah.
Bar. I don't know.
But the problem was, what was also under was that rat was under a, what do you call that thing? It was like a bucket.
Bucket, yeah.
Yeah, the rat.
So, like, I feel like maybe we'll track this with the different movies. There's always that scene where the villain does like the really villainy thing to remind you that he's the villain. So like in the last one, he like had the gas and he was like with the cop, he was like putting all the gas on the guy's face, making him drink it. And this one he had the mouse thing. So which made me think, Bailey, would you rather have someone torture you with a pump of gas on your face like in Fast 1, or would you rather have a rat be eating you from the inside in the bowl like in Fast 2?
Oh my gosh. I'd say probably the pump of gas because that guy didn't die and that wasn't as extreme.
Yeah.
Like that was a lot, but I think there's a way for me to fight through that rather than a rat digging into my stomach with a torch that is being put on the bucket that's heating up the source, that's also heating up the stomach, that's also the rat digging into your stomach. So you get like so many things going on
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely rather have to drink the gas. I feel like
to drink the gas.
I feel like neither would be pleasant. But that one would be a little bit more short-lived. And I don't know, like afterwards brush your teeth and maybe you'll be fine. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess that would yeah. Ew. What would you? So you would rather do the gas?
Yeah, I'd rather
too?
the gas. I feel like the gas is less evil.
What do you guys think?
You guys let us know. Would you rather?
Would you rather
how do I even phrase that?
drink? Would you rather drink gas, or would you rather a rat dig into your stomach?
Good question.
That's the question of the day. So, the high-speed chase to end all chases. It's not just a couple of cars; it's a whole fleet. Complete with a boat because of Miami. The whole fleet literally comes out of this like giant garage, this big strip garage. The biggest thing is why this is such a big scene is because all the cars are leaving to cause this distraction with the cops so that Roman and Brian can get away. And what happens is they switch their cars with what's their names?
It was Suki.
Yeah, Suki.
And then it was Ludacris. It's Tesh's character.
Yeah. So Tej and so they swapped with them and they got caught instead. But the good thing is, I mean, Roman and Brian were still doing their mission, so they were able to keep going because the cops were like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah.
Now they've been caught, and now we don't know what to do. And then they started waving at the helicopter camera, and that was their point to show that Roman and Brian still got this going on.
Which is interesting because so they finally if you're worried about Ludacris's and Suki, they were fine.
They were fine.
The FBI agents helped them get out of the problems with them being pulled over by the police. Do you think at any point they could have called the cops and been like, "Hey, these two guys are working for us.
Yeah.
Don't chase them with your entire police force.
Yeah, the whole movie, it's like that. There are some plot issues in the movie, that's for sure. We've already discussed that a little bit before we even got on the podcast. But one of the things that we're saying is, like, they didn't seem to communicate at all. Like, they're all within the United States. It's not like you're just, over a language barrier or anything. You're literally we're all speaking English over here.
Yeah,
so, like...
it was the FBI, and that's the people who brought in Brian O'Connor. Then you had the customs, who was, like, the people with, like, Eva Mendez's character. At some point, they could have called the Miami PD and be like, hey, we kind of have this cartel situation.
Yeah, for some reason, they weren't communicating with the police over a giant drug lord, pretty much, that they're trying to chase down. Like, this cop that's been threatening Brian, saying, like, you better do this or you're dead, pretty much. Like, you better succeed with this. Hold on to your seat, folks. It all comes down to this: the final showdown with Verone. Oh no, this is when that fancy little ship sails. Yeah. So the problem is, they were thinking they were supposed to go to an airstrip. Because that's what the girl told him, Monica. Yeah. Monica told him that, and you know how he knew that is because they were kind of canoodling, and that's how he knew. So,
which there might have been a deleted scene that would have made that make sense, because there's a scene where she tells them, "Hey, they're gonna kill you."
Yeah.
And I think that's when she said, "On your way to your airstrip."
Yeah, she said. Yeah.
But when you watch that scene, first there's a scene. Okay, so first there's the cool race with the two cars, and they get the muscle cars, and then they come back to, like, Tesh's garage, and they're, like, playing cards and having a good time, and Paul Walker's like, "Well, I'm gonna go," or whatever. He says it way too loud.
I'm going to sleep.
So, yeah, and then you switch to a scene where, like, he's in bed, shirtless, of course.
Yeah.
And she walks out of what seems to be a bathroom.
With wet hair.
Right, yeah. And then she warns him, which is either, what, did she swim over there?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But it looked like there was probably a deleted scene where, like, and actually, I know for a fact there was a deleted scene. That's one of our trivia parts we'll talk about at the end. We'll talk about it right now. Who cares?
Yeah,
there was a deleted scene, or there was a scene where they said they wanted to have, like, a love scene between Eva Mendes and Paul Walker, and she straight up asked him not to have it. Which,
Queen.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if she was like, not with that guy, or maybe she was like, I don't want my image to have that in my. I don't know.
That's fair.
I would love to, Eva, when you come into our podcast, and before our wedding, I would love to know why we didn't want that scene on. I get it, like, it's fine, but there might have been a scene in between the cards and the hanging out with the gang and, like, her coming and warning, because it seemed like completely out of left field.
Yeah.
So, what I never bought in the movie that they talked about at the beginning was that they weren't sure if she was compromised. Like, maybe she really was into Carter.
Yeah, that was like an off and on thing.
But, like, she never, like, she never seemed to have any loyalty to Carter.
She was just there.
He picked up on it. Like,
yeah.
He was not a happy camper.
Yeah. I mean, he kept threatening her over and over and over. That was like, if you let that guy touch you again, or if you touch that guy again, you're dead. You hear me? So it's like, okay, this dude's a jealous.
Yeah.
Jealous psychopath, killer, cartel guy.
I don't feel like he gets enough credit as being a great
Good gosh.
Like, he's just...
He does need to come back, and he needs to be wearing an eye patch. That's my...
Yeah. Why an eye patch?
I don't know, that just makes it cooler.
He seems like an eye patch guy, yeah.
Yeah, maybe something happened in prison. Maybe somebody, took out his eye or something. Or maybe he tried to take out his own eye. I don't know. I just, like... random
a reminder that I should never
random bodily harm to certain characters where it's like, oh, what happened there?
He's like, don't ask.
You should have seen the other guy.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I would like
Fast
to know.
11, Carter comes back with an eye patch. And a don't ask, don't tell policy about it.
Exactly. There are twists and turns and a heart-stopping moment that'll make you gasp.
Perfect.
Thank you. And of course, there's a last-minute save that's so outrageous you'll be cheering from your couch.
Yes, you will.
Which we were. because we were on a couch, which he was on a recliner.
I was still cheering. I was cheering from a recliner, so the translation still fits.
Yeah, so, like, what happened in that scene? Like, what was the miraculous moments and the scary moments to make us gasp?
Oh my gosh. So there was that whole car chase scene, and I don't know if chase is the right word. I mean, it was a chase, but like,
pretty much.
I feel like the police officers chasing them wasn't the scary part. The scary part was they were in the cars with Carter's two thugs, and like they knew these guys were going to kill him, and they had to take care of him. So their plan was to have the ejectocitos, and Tyrese's one worked. Yeah. So his work, but then for the first time in the movie, Brian O'Connor's plan didn't go according to plan.
Not at all.
And so his seat didn't ejecto. And so that was where the tension was, like, how is he going to get out of the situation? And then the really cool scene was, of course, they broed up and helped. Tyrese was able to come and help him and pull the guy out and help kind of save the day, which is kind of cool. That was like the good, because like in this movie, the protagonist, the hero of the movie is Brian O'Connor. But like Roman was a good sidekick. Like he saved Paul Walker, so Paul Walker could then save the day.
Yeah.
Like if he hadn't done his role, Brian O'Connor wouldn't have been able to make it to the boat.
Yeah, that was really cool though. I mean, it smashed into the ship, and then you saw Eva was
the one contribution she had in the whole movie.
She finally had her come back to this bad guy that's been freaking abusing her, honestly.
And I'm surprised she didn't do more than just knock him with the...
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been crazy if she just shot him right there. Mm-hmm. I mean, at this point, they've already done so much illegal things.
Yeah.
What's another murder?
Exactly.
They give almost all the money. But they keep some for themselves, and since we like the characters well enough, we have no problem with the fact that they stole drug money.
Yeah, Roman...
good for them. They earned it.
Roman pulls up his shirt, and he's like, look what I got. Hey. And he has, stacks.
Every opportunity he could, he took his shirt off.
Oh, absolutely.
Every opportunity.
I get it. Whatever. He's a cool character.
Yeah, if I had abs like that, I'd be breaking car windows with my shirt.
Absolutely. I wish. I wish I had washboard abs.
Wouldn't that be great? What are we thinking about this movie?
So I think it's a really fun movie to watch. I think it's definitely a lot more fun than the other one to me, just because it's got a lot of laughs. It has a lot of funny dynamics between Roman and Brian, but also funny dynamics between the bad guy as well, because he's just a creepy guy, really psycho. But it helps for him to be psycho because it just adds to everything. And the whole plot line and stuff, even though the girl and that whole gist was in it, it wasn't as much of him chasing the girl, which yes, that was involved, but it was more so of following through with the plan, following through with getting the money and getting this guy arrested, which is, I like that a lot. And then they showed a lot of stunts and a lot of racing, and it's leading you more into how the Fast and Furious movies start to actually be, which is jam-packed with action and wow, this is some cool stunts, so I liked it pretty well. What about you?
Yeah, so I definitely liked the dynamic between Roman and Brian's character. That was it felt talk about sequel. You went from having one main character maybe in the first one. I don't know, you had a bunch, but this one was definitely a buddy cop, but they weren't cop movies, and they did a good job of that. I believed their friendship. I believe that was always my favorite thing. Did not believe the romance between Eva Mendes and Paul Walker. Maybe there wasn't. Maybe,
not really.
Maybe that's why she specifically was don't put a love scene between us. This is how I would do the movie differently. If they had called me back up in 2003 when I was a sophomore in high school, and they said, Drew, we're making a new Fast and Furious movie. Here's what we want to do. What changes do you have?
What changes do you have?
So this is what I do. I think they should have used Ludacris's character, Suki, the Orange Julius character. He was in
100%.
They should have used that street team that you first met. That should have been so once they knew that the cops weren't going to really help them out, we should have seen more of what could have been the new family for that. Just we saw a lot of the characters from the first one, the side characters all kind of had their points. like like Michelle Rodriguez's character Mia, Jesse, the random guy who I feel like was only in 2 scenes. Like they were part of the helping. Vince, he was a big part of it. Like those new racers that we saw at the beginning, that was like the new family. Yeah, like just for that movie, that would have made sense. But they really were super side characters.
They really were.
And then I would have done something different with Monica, with Eva Mendez's character. I think the most almost captivating thing about her was whether she was a double agent or not, whether she had like turned to work with the bad guy. And so I think a cool twist would have been if it ended up she actually was loyal to Carter, and like I don't know, like maybe at the end instead of like knocking him down, she turns the gun to him and they have to figure out a way to stop her as well, or something like that. Yeah, because her being a double agent or her having turned to the criminal side is the exact same thing that happened to Paul Walker's character in the first movie.
Yeah,
so
that's true,
and it would have just added to his whole like
little switch.
Yeah, like because he's over here thinking like, so maybe back in high school or whenever him and Roman were friends, he did the wrong thing and he crossed the line and didn't help Roman when he could, and then he did the right thing and he helped Vin Diesel when he could. Yeah, but now he's got a situation where he's got another character who's doing the same thing, but he's on the risk. It just would have added a little tension. And I like I said, I really liked the villain. I thought he was a fun guy to not like. Just crazy enough to in this Fast and Furious word to make it work. So those are my thoughts. Yeah. So okay, so this is where we do some rankings, and this is also where I invite you all go to our social medias. Come find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Like, follow, join the things, but especially on Instagram is the easiest one. But you can also find it on Facebook and the other ones. But like, we have up there polls where we love to hear your responses to some of the questions that we're talking about. And so, for example, we're ranking the villains as we watch the movies, and there's actually a section where you can also give all of your villain rankings. So we invite you to do that because it's just fun to kind of interact as a community or a family, if you will. So the question is, compared to last month's villain, compared to Fast and Furious 1, Danny Tran, do we right now we only have 2 villains that we're ranking. So is Carter here? Where does he stand in your rankings?
I mean, obviously Carter's a lot worse. Yeah, I mean the dude's crazy.
Yeah, I definitely put him right now with the 2 that we have. He's number 1.
And he's very smart.
Our next section is one of my favorite parts, Bailey's best bits. We've kind of updated this since the last time we did it in the first episode. Basically, Bailey's going to pick 3 scenes, 3 of the best scenes for her. Yes. Now, she gets to choose what it's the best at. Yes. So, like, last time, she picked her favorite scenes. So yes. But, like, maybe she wants to pick the best things that made her angry. Or maybe she wants to pick the best things that were the funniest scenes. Or the best things that, I don't know, the best looking parts of Eva Mendes. I don't know. That's weird. She probably won't pick that one.
The whole movie.
So, yeah. But, so, and then she chooses whether she wants to tell me what the qualification is, and then I have to pick the best, and I'm trying to pick her scene. If I win, I get a point, and if I lose, she gets a point. We're currently at Drew with 1 point and Bailey with 0 points. So
rip. Yeah, I'm pretty predictable, unfortunately. So we start off. Can I tell you the topic of the types of scenes?
That's up to you. It makes my life easier if you tell me.
Do I want to do that?
I don't know. Do you?
No. Okay, so you have the first scene is like the street racing in the very beginning. But you would think that I would say it's the ramp, right? No, that's not what I'm saying. The one part is just a split second where you've got, what's that girl's name? Suki. Okay, so Suki.
Smack that ass.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for saying that for me. So that is one of them. And then you got the second scene where they are at the demolition derby. And demolition derby?
Yeah.
Am I saying things right?
Think so. Yeah,
I don't know.
Right.
Demolition derby, and Brian and Ludacris is wrestling on the ground. Yeah. You know. And then you got the other scene where he is talking back to the bad guy. He's like, I'm hungry. Like I said, I'm hungry.
First of all, I'm going to guess that the qualification is like funniest scene.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't think it's the last one because you hesitated. but you don't want to give me any ideas if I'm correct or not. I want to. Okay, if you had said like the cop's reaction where he's like eating the popcorn and just watching it, that might have been the funniest scene to me. But since you're talking about the fight, I don't think that was that funny, other than it was kind of a dumb fight. So I'm gonna go with number one. I'm gonna go with the drawbridge.
No.
Yeah,
because I didn't give you full detail of the second one to throw you off.
Oh, well, thank you. That makes sense. It's all in the rules.
Because I did say the scene was when they were fighting.
Yeah.
And while they were fighting, the guy was eating the popcorn.
Okay, so you intentionally misled me. I
did.
That's smart.
But also, at the same time, I thought the fight was funny in itself.
It was pretty funny.
Because they were just like, why'd you do that, bro? Why'd you... What, bro? I'm sorry, cuh.
Yeah.
And they're just like... They're literally... holding each other in the dirt.
They're just rolling.
Rolling
with it.
And then you had these two guys in the background that are like, it's just extra characters.
The two guys
and they're just like, they're watching and they're like, you could see them doing these hand gestures and stuff. And they're like, I guess they were gesturing over because they're like, should we go and break these guys up? And then they finally like disperse. And then the guys are just like, okay. And they walk off.
It makes me wonder if like they like, okay, we're going to hit film, but we're not going to tell those people we're doing a movie. So just, imagine. See what happens.
Just see two guys rolling in on the ground in 2003 at a demolition derby.
Yeah. And they were like, yeah, okay.
And then you see a cop eating popcorn. That's so normal.
Yeah. Okay, so that was a fun... When we...
That was fun.
With the full picture, that was a really funny scene.
Yeah, that was a funny scene.
I'll accept the loss on that.
Because that's how pretty much Roman and Brian, made up a little bit more. Like, that's when you started to see their friendship grow again.
It goes to show... I mean, like... This is what they say about men and women, and I kind of think it's true.
They have to fight it out.
Like, guys, like, if you have beef, just beat the crap out of each other. And something about punching that person just lets it out.
What do women do?
Women hold on to it forever, and it's not socially acceptable for you to go, like, if you have beef with your friend, be like, hey, let's go over to this demolition derby and just fight.
Yeah, that's fair.
So they never do, and then they hold on to it, and then it, like, festers.
I'm gonna be honest, though. We hold it in because there's so much that we want to fight. We probably want to fight more people than the guys do. Like, I've got a whole Santa list of people I would probably want to fight, but I won't.
Come back to our episode next month. We'll talk about Tokyo Drift, and Bailey shares her Santa list of all the people that she wants to fight. And you, the audience, get to pick the first 3 that she fights.
Yeah, it'd be Too Fast, Too Furious. I mean...
Right. Just furious, no fast.
Just furious, no
Slow,
fast.
Slow, painful, and furious. The Bailey Jackson story.
With the baby... fist that I have.
Just means you can punch him more.
I'm just kidding. I don't actually hold a lot of animosity, honestly, towards anybody that has
Unless you're on my
anything.
Santa list.
Unless you're on my Santa list.
Why Santa? Is Santa on the list? That
Santa has the nice and naughty list.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I thought maybe we were about to transition to you being like, I hate Santa.
Because it's like I check it twice in my head all the time of who I have a grudge against.
Yeah. It's so well thought out and scary.
Sorry.
Anyway.
Merry Christmas.
Well, yeah. I hope... hey, you know what? Just share with who's on your Santa list. Let us know. Let us know the top
what
people
do you want
you're
for
going to knock out. And you know what? Maybe we'll start a Patreon where you give us the name and the information, and Bailey will go punch them.
Yeah, I'll be your own personal... No, that's legal issues.
I'll be there with my Hawaiian shirt and popcorn just watching it.
Yes.
It will be our new podcast. Bailey Bashing.
Bailey Bashing.
Would you put this one over or under number 1?
I'd put it over.
Over? Okay.
I think it's above.
I think I do too. Right now, this one's my number 1.
It'd be 2 and then 1.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And we'd love to hear what you guys think. In fact, we have a ranking of the whole movies. Currently, with the people that voted, number 1 and number 3 are tied for the top spot. Mm-hmm. And then, which one is it? Is number 10 is currently like dead last. It's got like hardly any points.
That's insane.
So, please, for the love of God, let's not make Tokyo Drift the one that wins everyone's favorite. Come on. I'm just saying.
Man, let the people have what they want, Drew.
But also want better things. That's...
Dang.
Thank you guys so much for being part of this podcast. Thank you for watching, listening. Thank you for all the comments and subscribing and watching us on the social media. Be sure to follow us, the Quarter Mile Podcast, on most things except for TikTok. It's just Quarter Mile Podcast there. We'll be back next month, last Wednesday in March. So we can't wait to do Tokyo Drift with you all. This is the Quarter Mile Podcast, and we're just reminding you, live your life a quarter of a mile at a time, and just have a good time. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Keep your engines revving and your friendships tight.
Yeah, all right. See you later.